Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to another video and another topic, that is essay writing. So let's begin. Um, in essay writing, I have already told you what a thesis statement is. But before I move on to different types of essay that I want you to teach, I would just reiterate, I would just reinforce something that we have already discussed, because now we are connecting with essay writing after quite a long gap, because we had to cover two topics of grammar last week, and then a book review and summary writing, and today also we started with grammar. So that is why it's a sort of a review, right? So what is a thesis statement? It basically tells the reader how you will interpret the significance of the subject matter under discussion, right? So what is your stance, or what is your take, or what is your interpretation of the topic under discussion, right? And also consider the thesis statement as a roadmap for the paper. Why? Because it tells the reader what to expect from the rest of the paper. So your thesis statement kinds of gives the direction to the reader, that what they must expect from your writing. Okay, and it directly answers the question asked of you. So especially if it's an argumentative essay, to what extent do you agree, or do you agree? And in the thesis statement, you clearly communicate your stance. So it's sort of an answer to the question that has been asked in the form of the topic. So a thesis is an interpretation of a question or a subject, not the subject itself. It is not like kind of rephrase and present the topic, right? So you cannot simply, if the topic is the harmful impact of internet, and you say there are lots of harmful impacts of internet, now you're kind of just rephrasing the topic. It has to be your stance. Okay, considering this impact, I believe, yes, the internet has a lot of negative impact, right? So it has to be very specific. It should be the interpretation of a question, and it should not be like you are just referring to the subject in the end. Okay, the subject or a topic of an essay might be World War II or Moby Dick. A thesis must then offer a way to understand the war or the novel, and your thesis statement makes a claim that others might dispute. So in the rest of your essay, you will be supporting your thesis statement by presenting cogent arguments, so that you are able to convince the reader of your viewpoint. Okay, it is usually a single sentence near the beginning of your paper, most often at the end of the first paragraph, because in the beginning, the first 2 or 3 lines, you sort of, build the introduction, the background, and then towards the end of the first paragraph, there comes a statement, which is a thesis statement, and which conveys your stance, that presents your argument to the reader. The rest of the paper, the body of the essay, gathers and organizes evidence that will persuade the reader of the logic of your interpretation. So first paragraph में आपने somewhere in the second last and last line of the first paragraph आपने बता दिया कि आपकी interpretation इस topic की क्या है, आपका stance क्या है, what is your opinion, what is your argument, and बाकी के पूरे essay में आप evidence gather करेंगे, organize करेंगे इस तरीके से कि आप रीडर को कन्विंस कर सकें कि आपका जो इंटरप्रिटेशन है वो लॉजिक पे बेस्ड है, एंड इट्स नॉट जस्ट you're just not randomly stating something, right? Then we have few examples. Okay, now we have this example. Okay, I'll just remove this. The first one: the North and South fought the Civil War for many reasons, some of which were the same and some different. Now, do you consider it as an effective thesis statement, something that I have already discussed with you? You have been asked to do that in your midterm examination too. Obviously, it's not a very strong thesis statement, because it's only telling the North and South fought the Civil War for many reasons. Now, what are those reasons? They just say some of which were the same and some different. So obviously, not a very effective and specific thesis statement. Now read the second one. While both sides fought the civil war over the issue of slavery, the North fought for moral reasons, while the South fought to preserve its own institutions. Now, instead of saying they fought, North and South fought the civil war for many reasons, some of which were the same and some different. Now, there is no clarity. What do you intend to communicate? What is your understanding of different reasons? So, you are never going to use general or vague words which could have multiple meaning in your thesis statement, because your thesis statement has to be specific. So you are going to use words, you're going to use vocabulary that are specific and that clearly communicate your idea. So when you say for many reasons and some of which were the same, some different, there is no clarity. Like which one were the same, which one were the different. There is no sort of clarity in entire thesis statement. On the other hand, while both sides fought the civil war over the issue of slavery, now both of them fought over the issue of slavery, the North fought for moral reasons. So the aim of North was to fight for the reasons that were based on morality, the issue of morality, while the South fought to preserve its own institutions. So they both were fighting against the issue of slavery, but the aim of the South was to preserve its own institutions. You see, so here, instead of saying for many reasons, some of which were same, some different. Now, what was the same reason? Over the issue of slavery. So both had the same intention. One reason was similar, that both of them were fighting the civil war against the issue of slavery. And what was different? The North fought for moral reasons and the South to preserve its own institution. Now you cannot just say they fought for different reasons, some of them were same, there is a lot of confusion. There is nothing clear, right? So you have to have that clarity while you're writing your thesis statement. Okay. Again, yet another way could be, while both Northerners and Southerners believed they fought against tyranny and oppression, Northerners focused on the oppression of slaves, while Southerners defended their own right to self-government. Now here again, a different way of writing, but you're communicating the same opinion that you have, that essentially both Northerners and Southerners believe that they were fighting against tyranny and oppression. But Northerners focused on the oppression of slaves, while Southerners defended their own right to self-government. So you see, both of these thesis statements are effective, very specific. And now in the rest of the essay, you're going to prove that why do you think, or how do you think Northerners were focusing on oppression of slaves? On the other hand, Southerners defended their own right to self-government. Why do you think so? So obviously, you're going to give some historical reference, some context, right? Now, let's discuss yet another example. Mark Twain's Huckleberry Finn is a great American novel. Now, we have already discussed it quite a few times, that simply stating that something is great, something is amazing, you loved reading something is a very bad way of putting up your argument. So if I just say that you all must read this book, this is amazing. Now, why is it amazing? How can I convince you people to read it? Or if I say you must write daily, because you all should write daily. Now again, this is not a very convincing argument. Why do I think that you all should write daily? There has to be some reason, right? There has to be a complete idea behind the statement that I'm making. It cannot be just, a simple statement because I just want someone to believe something or do something. There has to be logic, right? So let's look at the proper or another thesis statement. In Huckleberry Finn, Mark Twain develops a contrast between life on the river and life on the shore. So if you say that Mark Twain's Huckleberry Finn is a great American novel because it develops a contrast because the author develops a beautiful contrast between life on the river and life on the shore, then obviously you have, sort of, a convincing stance, because you are telling your reader that what should they expect, right? And this probably, if you look at this thesis statement, this is not a sort of argumentative, this is not a thesis statement of, sort of an argumentative essay. If you compare this Huckleberry Finn, this thesis statement with the Northerners and Southerners one, that probably is the thesis statement of an argumentative writing. And if you just look at this second one, it's sort of a descriptive essay. You're just describing the novel, but at least the description is complete, unlike the first thesis statement in which the writer has written, it's a great American novel. Because even for a descriptive essay, you cannot simply just randomly share your idea, your belief, or your feelings about something without any cogent argument, right? Similarly, let's look at another thesis statement on the similar topic. Through its contrasting river and shore scenes, Twain's Huckleberry Finn suggests that to find the true expression of American democratic ideals, one must leave civilized society and go back to nature. Now, this sort of, appears as an argumentative essay as well. It could be a descriptive essay as well, depending on what the sort of arguments that you have later on. But again, this is a very complete, effective thesis statement in which there is a little reference to what the novel is about. It's about a contrast between river and shore scenes, and then it also tells the message that the main message of the novel, and that was that to find a true expression of American democratic ideal, one must leave civilized society and go back to nature. So this was the essence of the novel. You understand? Okay, now comes the expository essay, the first type of essay that we'll be discussing in detail. An expository essay basically, excuse me, it basically exposes the reader to a new topic, right? It informs the reader with details, descriptions, or explanations of a subject. So if you're writing an expository essay, your thesis statement should explain to the reader what she or he will learn in your essay. For example, if you say the United States spends more money on its military budget than all the industrialized nations combined. Or basically you're just exposing your reader to a new topic. You're informing them about something. You are giving them details. You're describing. You're explaining a subject. So your thesis statement should have some sort of explanation, right? It's not that in thesis statement you just give a vague statement and later on you can describe. No, there must be some sort of description, detail, or some sort of information in your thesis statement for expository essay, because expository essay is an essay where you intend to write to inform your reader, right? Another example could be the United States spends more money on its military budget than all the, oh sorry, we are done with this example, I'm sorry. Gun-related homicides and suicides are increasing after years of decline. Now, see, a complete explanation is there. Now, in the later part of the essay or the later paragraph, you are going to tell how gun-related homicide and suicide have increased after years of decline. So you are going to tell two things. One, you are going to tell that, okay, first it had declined. When it had declined, obviously you'll refer to the details, the statistics. If you're referring to a specific country, you are going to give the specific statistics of that country. You'll refer to the research, and then how it began. It began to increase, and what is the current status. So, and also you can refer to why did it decline. So you're going to tell that if a decade ago the gun-related homicides and suicides were declined, what were the main reasons or the probable reasons behind that, and then how it started increasing again. Was there a leniency in the laws related to gun or something like that? So you're going to explain that. You're going to inform your readers. Your aim is to enhance their knowledge, to inform them about something. Let's look at yet another example. Hate crimes have increased 3 years in a row, according to the FBI. Obviously, you are giving a strong statement, so you have referred to an authentic source. You cannot say hate crimes have increased. Obviously, why? How do you know that? You have referred to a statistic. And later on, you're going to explain that what sort of hate crimes have increased, what are the major incidents that have taken place in the last 3 years. You're going to refer to that, right? Let's look at another example. Post-traumatic stress disorder increases the risk of stroke and arterial fibrillation, irregular heartbeat, basically. So you are informing your reader the impact of PTSD, that is post-traumatic stress disorder, right? And you, what are the impact according to you? You have referred in your thesis statement increases the risk of stroke and irregular heartbeat. Now, in the rest of your essay, you are going to describe this whole process. That how does it increase the risk of stroke? What happens inside your body? Or how does it increase the risk of arterial fibrillation? You're going to refer to that process, right? Because you have already made this statement in your thesis statement that it increases the risk of stroke. Now you are going to expand on this idea, right? Okay. Now that was the thesis statement for an expository essay. Now moving on to an argumentative essay. Okay. So what is an argumentative essay, first of all? In an argumentative essay, you have a very strong stance about something. Now now you would come across two types of essay that you would find almost similar: persuasive essay and argumentative essay. But there is a slight difference between two of them. In a persuasive essay, you can present stance on the basis of your feelings, your emotions, or if you feel strongly about something, you can refer to that. So obviously you'll make some logical argument, but then it could be more emotional appeal could be there. But when it's an argumentative essay, you have to refer to all sorts of appeal, logical appeal, basically. So you have to prove your stance or your idea with the reference or the help of logic. So you are going to give logical arguments to prove your point. So if you have been instructed to take a stance on one side of a controversial issue, you will need to write an argument essay. Your thesis statement should express the stance you are taking, and it may give the reader a preview or a hint of your evidence. The thesis of an argument essay could look something like the following. Self-driving cars are too dangerous and should be banned from the roadways. So for instance, the topic could be, should self-driving cars be banned? And this is your stance. Self-driving, because you think that self-driving cars are too dangerous, they should be banned from the roadways. And in the rest of the essay, in the remaining body paragraph, you are going to discuss the features of self-driving cars, what make them dangerous as compared to the normal cars, or what makes them more dangerous as compared to the normal cars, what are the chances of road accidents, or different arguments. And you will divide them as per your body paragraph. For my course, you all are going to write a 5-paragraph essay. First paragraph is an introduction where you gain the attention of your reader. You present the background, then you present the thesis statement. The next 3 paragraphs are the body paragraph in which you discuss your stance on the topic, and the last paragraph is the concluding paragraph, in which you reinforce or you sum up the entire gist of your essay. Okay, let's look at another example. The exploration of outer space is a waste of money. Instead, funds should go towards solving issues on Earth such as poverty, hunger, global warming, and traffic congestion. So, for instance, the topic is, if you appear for IELTS, there is a statement and then there is a question to what extent do you agree or disagree. So, for instance, the topic is explore, spending resources on exploring outer space is a waste of resources, or exploring um, or spending resources on the exploration of outer space is a waste of money. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So you sort of, build a background, or, you gain the attention of your audience in the first 2 to 3 lines, and in the last 2 lines of your introductory paragraph, you mention your thesis statement that the exploration of outer space is a waste of money. Instead, funds should go towards solving issues on Earth, such as poverty, hunger, global warming, and traffic congestion. Now, in the remaining body paragraph, you have two purposes to fulfill through your writing. You have made this claim. Now, it's not that easy that you just randomly make a claim. You have to support your claim with logical argument for an argumentative essay, with the help of research, with the help of experts' opinion, with the help of an authentic source, with the help of statistics, right? So you have two jobs here. First, you are going to say, why do you think it's a waste of money? How much resources is wasted on that, or you used on that? And why do you think, you are going to explain that why do you think that it should go towards solving issues on Earth? And then you're going to expand on, the solving the issues of poverty, global warming, and traffic congestion. And why do you think that solving these issues should have more attention as compared to exploring of outer space? So you are going to explain this with rational and logical example. So I don't know if I have referred to these appeals before, but there are different kinds of appeal that you use in your essay: ethos, and I think logos and pathos. So ethos is emotional appeal. I forgot about pathos. I'll just try to recall. And logos is the logical appeal, right? So these are the main appeal that you have to use in your writing. And if you use all these appeal, it makes your writing more, logical and understandable. Okay, so pathos is basically emotional or imaginative impact. So pathos is emotional appeal, ethos is credibility, trustworthiness, or reputation, and logos is logical appeal. Ethos is basically about establishing your authority to speak on the subject. Why can you speak on the subject? Are you an expert? Logos is your logical argument, that is with the help of statistics or research. And pathos is an attempt where you try to convince your audience using emotions. So for instance, if you're writing an essay on why poverty must be eradicated, and you use sentences like, every day you walk on the street and you see kids without a roof on their head, without food to eat, sitting on the corner of the roads and asking for money, and what does it make you feel? So using these kind of imagination or emotive words, you are trying to kind of appeal to the emotions of your writer, of your reader, and you're trying to use emotions to explain your point of view about something. And what would be the logos or logical appeal? That you refer to statistic that according to this government's record, 56% of population live below the poverty line. So it's high time we do something, or steps must be taken to eradicate poverty from the country or from the world, right? So you're referring to the statistic that these much people in the world or in your country live below the poverty line, which means they are deprived of the basic of the necessities in their life, right? And then ethos is basically, you as student might not be using ethos because ethos is about establishing your credibility. For instance, you are writing an essay about how a good healthy diet, a lifestyle, changes your body for the good, and brings positivity to in your life. Now, for ethos would be that as a nutritionist, I have seen. So, now this is how you are establishing authority. You are a nutritionist. So, you are in a position to write a blog or write an essay on this topic. So, ethos is basically establishing authority. Why am I the right person to talk on this topic? So, if I'm an educationist or an academician, or an educationist, and I'm saying that it's time that we inculcate or integrate the element of basic human values in curriculum, and I'm establishing my authority that as an educationist who has taught at various levels, in academia, from schools to teacher, to primary school to secondary school and university students, I believe it is time to integrate the component of basic human values in the curriculum. Now, I am establishing my authority. Who am I to comment on something about curriculum? Who am I to say that we must have this element in the curriculum? So I am trying to establish my authority, and that is ethos. I hope the difference between ethos, logos, and pathos is clear now. So in an argumentative essay, you have to use different appeal, and you cannot skip logical appeal, because you have to convince your reader using strong arguments, right? Okay. Yet another example of thesis statement for an argumentative essay: the US must crack down on illegal immigration. So the issues of illegal, for example, the topic is the issues of illegal immigration, or the impact or the effects of illegal immigration. And you say the US must crack down on illegal immigration, but this is sort of incomplete. In few words, like if you compare it with the last thesis statement, is a waste of money. Instead, funds should go towards solving issues on earth such as poverty, hunger, global. So that was complete. Here the writer has only mentioned the US must crack down on illegal immigration, because considering how it has increased the crime rates in the country. So you sort of give a reason for what you're saying. Then it would be more effective and complete. Okay, let's look at yet another example. Street cameras and street view maps have led to a total loss of privacy in the United States and elsewhere. So now your stance is against the street cameras and street view maps. And why do you think they should not be used, or they should be removed? Because they have led to a total loss of privacy in the United States and elsewhere. So you are going to first explain what does street cameras and street view map do, and why do you think that they have led to a total loss of privacy in the United States? And also, one thing which is very important is that is counter argument. So when you're presenting your argument, you have to refer to the counter argument as well. What is a counter argument? That I have one stance, the stance that is opposite to my stance is the counter argument. So if I am against street cameras and street view maps, somewhere in my body paragraph, probably in the second body paragraph or in the third paragraph of a 5-paragraph essay, in first paragraph I have given my stance. Okay, in second body paragraph also I have given my stance. Probably in the third body paragraph I'll refer to a counter argument and I'll refute that counter argument. So I would say that a lot of people believe that according to a group of people, street cameras and street view maps have become a necessity for the purpose of protecting citizens. However, I believe there are other ways of ensuring safety to citizens. It is the law enforcement's responsibility to ensure safety, and that shouldn't be provided at the cost of compromising people's privacy. Right? So somewhat like that. I'm just giving you a rough sort of statement, but you have to refer to a counter argument and you have to refute the counter argument in your writing. For instance, if you consider the last thesis statement, I have said the US must crack down on illegal immigration considering the harmful impact it has caused in the country, for instance, the increased crime rate. Now, throughout, in the first body paragraph, I'll tell how has this increased crime rate and it has, sort of contaminated in the society or something like that. I'll tell the statistics. I'll tell how after the illegal immigration, the crime rates have increased. But somewhere in my body paragraph, probably in the last body paragraph, in the third body paragraph, I am going to refer to the counter argument that considering on, from the humanitarian or the humanitarian perspective, we cannot we cannot ban immigration. However, now I have presented another perspective ना कि भाई अगर आप humanitarian perspective से सोचें तो आप अगर immigration ban कर देंगे तो जो war torn countries के लोग हैं वो कहाँ जाएंगे? तो you will refer to that counter argument that some people believe that it is inhuman to stop people from immigrating in your country, especially those who are trying to escape from the war torn countries like what happened in Myanmar or what happened in Syria. So it's quite inhuman if you don't accept immigration from the humanitarian point of view. However, then you have presented this perspective, but also you have to refute that. However, considering the well-being of your country, immigration cannot be allowed, illegal immigration cannot be allowed or something like that. Considering the well-being or safety of your own people, right? Or this practice cannot be, must not be, must not be allowed to become common, or this shouldn't become a practice. So in the third body paragraph, try to refer to the opposite stance and then refute, counter that stance, so that the reader, obviously the reader will also have the opposite stance in their mind. That is why it is your responsibility to refer to the counter argument and then refute that. Okay. Now let us look at the example of a narrative essay. I'll read this introduction. It was the 4th of July and the summer heat was as blistering as ever in New Mexico. Lily N, Daniela and I, the three best friends, set out to go on a girly picnic as we would every year since we were 9 years old. I had done all my chores and packed the picnic basket the night before, so as soon as I brushed my teeth and had a coffee, I was ready to dress up and go have a good time with my besties. I took my beat up Cherokee and sped down the street to meet up with Daniela. We would pick Lily Ann later. Now this is the narrative essay. Now how is it different from expository or argumentative or persuasive essay? Then in this narrative essay, you sort of try to create a story, a scene, right? So here it's very important for, now here there might not be a clear thesis statement, because if you read this, it's a story. You have created a scene. So a narrative essay is probably very different from the rest of the essay. So there is no one clear thesis statement. There is this entire scene. But if the reader reads this complete introduction, the stance or the main idea of your essay must be clear after reading the very first paragraph. So you have to write a clear introduction for a narrative essay. That is very important, right? So now if we recall whatever we have discussed so far in essay writing, then the very important thing that we have discussed from the initial from the time when we initially started this topic was thesis statement. What is a thesis statement? How it is written? What it must contain? What it shouldn't be? We have discussed that. Then, if you remember, one of my lectures deliver like 2 weeks before your midterm or immediately after your midterm was the process of essay writing. So how researching and brainstorming is an important part of essay writing, how you need to brainstorm whenever you have, after you have selected a topic, or how after you have been assigned a topic, and then reading and then coming up with argument, creating an outline, because an outline gives a direction to your writing that, okay, this is the first paragraph, these are the arguments that I'm going to refer to in my introductory paragraph. Then you are going to divide your essay into proper paragraphs, body paragraph, and for at your level, for every body paragraph, just try to include one idea in each body paragraph. And the body paragraph tends to support your main idea. And then I have also discussed that each body paragraph consists of one topic sentences, and the topic sentence, one topic sentence, and the topic sentence is the first line of your paragraph. So the first line is the topic sentence, which clearly communicates to the reader that you are going to what is the idea that you are going to discuss in this paragraph. And then the remaining part is known as the supporting argument. So in the supporting argument, you are going to discuss, support your topic sentence. You are going to explain your topic sentence. You are going to support it with cogent argument, right? Then you'll do the same with the second body paragraph, and you'll do the same with the third body paragraph. And then comes the conclusion, in which you are going to sum up the entire essay. It's also said that it's kind of rephrasing your thesis statement. So you are going to rephrase your main idea in different words. You are going to sum up whatever you have discussed, and it would also consist of recommendation. It could also consist of some suggestion. But if you remember, I have clearly discussed that in your concluding paragraph, you are never going to refer to any new idea, because the purpose of the concluding paragraph is to reinforce or sum up or rephrase your main idea. It's never to include or introduce a new idea. So these were some of the things that we have already discussed, and I hope that essay writing is clear to you people now. So see you in the next video with a new topic. Thank you.